Author Arley Koran has written 15 books to date. Born, raised, and educated in the Midwest, Arley was a professional musician and then achieved a personal goal as a successful architect before turning his hobby of writing into a third career. Through each career, he found ways to pay it forward and help others by giving back to society. Often, by hearing how other people have given back to society or how they have fulfilled their own goals and purpose in life, it inspires us to do the same. Once a humanitarian, always a humanitarian. So I've known that you've given back all your life. But the point is, what have you done as far as with your writing in ways of giving?
Well, I'll tell you about a project I undertook. I tried to keep it anonymous, but somehow it came forward and people heard about it, and I couldn't deny it. About 3 years ago, I went to a studio in New York, and I narrated 2 of my popular children's stories. The studio then, they modulated the voices and put in sound effects and background music. Then I took the master copies, and I then started calling various children's cancer hospitals throughout the United States. I sent out over 300 CDs to them. The pleasure of it to get back a letter from the administrators or the nurses or even from the children was so rewarding I can't express. The administrator was telling me in this letter that she sent that my book will forever be on a display case because the title of the book was something we always want to keep on that board. The title of the book was called I Can Dream.
Yes, that's a beautiful story. We're talking to Arley Koran. He's an author, humanitarian. He's written the Stan Stanton thrillers, which are mystery books. He's written Christmas classics. He's written a series of books about the Animals Can Teach Us Much series. And later we're also going to be talking about the M&M Girls. Let's just briefly talk about I Can Dream, Can't I? Just love this book.
I tell you, it's one of my finest books, and it was illustrated by a very good artist from the New York area, and it is colored pictures throughout it, many of them, approximately 25 pictures. In fact, people have even told me they'd like to take the pictures and mount them in a series because they're so attractive. Mm-hmm. But the story is, just like most of my children's stories, are virtuous. I want to bring out a lot of the morality, which we miss today. So in that story, you'll get the moral attitude, but also the attitude of what is there more in life to do except work. And that's the basis of it. Work isn't all unless you find pleasure in it, and it isn't work.
So let's get back to this fabulous book, one of my favorites, called Doing What We Do Best. Now, this is it's a very fun, humorous, clever book, and you have some wonderful characters in it. Basically, the message that's behind this book is that life does not have to be work, especially if you learn to enjoy what you're doing. So whatever your passion is in life, whatever it is you are striving for, your goal, if you love what you do, it's not work.
Nancy, you're so right about that. What I did in that book, which I thought, or I was very proud of, was it's a play on a lot of words. One of the words, just for example, is every one of the animals that are involved have a name. Now, except when they asked Squirrel, what's his name? Well, he thought for a moment, and he says, well, my name is just Squirrel. So then he thought again, and he says, if I don't have a name, does that mean I'm a nobody? All right. And then there's an owl who is called Winifred Hortense.
Hortense Owl. That's right.
Now, but she didn't like the long name, so she told everybody just to call her by her initials, W-H-O. Hoop. So, of course, there's a Abbott and Costello play on those words, just like who's on first and what's on second.
The Animals Can Teach Us Much series, that those are also books that adults can enjoy as well. And you have such a knack for creating memorable characters. How do you get these ideas? Also, your stories, all of them, which is just lovely, that they have a nice balance of teaching a lesson as well as being entertaining. And I think that what's nice is when you teach the lesson, it's nothing where you're pontificating or preaching. It's ever so subtle, but they teach those wonderful virtues of honesty honesty, peace, loyalty, teamwork, unselfishness. So why do you choose to write about these type of stories?
I think the world needs good literature. Not that I'm a great writer. I don't anticipate that I'm going to be in the annals of history, but I feel that any book that can guide somebody, any sort of a story that can guide them, will help people. I'll tell you, for an example, is my M&M Girls book.
Oh.
Which is about two ladies who utilize wheelchairs to get around with. Now, you would think that their life would be very drab and almost forgotten because they can't get around, but I decided there's a way to give them excitement and to illustrate they can have adventures, and best of all, they can be mischievous. So I wrote this book about these ladies, and there's about 6 short stories, and they go through different cycles of them in a nursing home or out shopping or in that nature. It's hilarious as could be, and I've had people already ask me, when's the next one coming out about them? And you won't find in any of those 6 stories that they were looking for their remote control.
Now, let's talk about the Stan Stanton thrillers. These are a series of mysteries, and it's about Stan Stanton and his partner, Sandra Hawkins. They both work for Lloyd's of London. So they go all over the world trying to stop crime and solving mysteries. You must do a lot of research to write these books because they're traveling all over, and you're naming places as if you're in these places when you're reading it.
I'll tell you that's true. I want those books, the Stan Stanton series, to be like a travelogue, because you can have these occurrences that the 2 stars get involved in places that are noted in history, like all along the Nile River. The monuments that they encounter are so interesting to write about, and here these 2 people are involved in them. My Stan Stanton character was developed because he was a previous member of the LAPD. He decided he wanted just to help out society with an insurance investigation firm, which he owns with a female partner. Now, he doesn't carry a gun, and he does all of his solving of these mysteries mentally.
Oh, yes, it's very cleverly done. You also have received rave reviews for your Christmas collection. You have several in this collection, Christmas Treasures, the Christmas collection, and I just wanted to ask, what was your inspiration with these, Christmas classics? So let's talk about them for a little bit.
Many, many years ago, Nancy, I started, which you know, a tradition in the family of writing and reading to the family a special short Christmas story, which I read Christmas Eve or else before a large Christmas dinner the following day. Now, these stories have been accumulating throughout the years, and so what I decided to do, I picked out a half a dozen of those stories from my first book, and then I had 2 following books after that. Now, the stories are very widespread. In time, they go back in history, as well as in different occurrences of events. So they are very broad in scope. One takes place in Russia during the Napoleonic era, one in the Civil War. And so this is the stretch of them, but they're so unique that everybody, no matter the religion, would enjoy them.
Here's another one of my favorite stories, is The Red Sled. And I just love the beautiful romantic ending. And what's also important is the selflessness.
You know, Nancy, I'll give you a scenario of that story. A boy is sitting on a sled with this little girl. Now, she's in the front and he's on the back. Now, he's got to have his arms around her as they go down the hill. And he's going to recite to us that, going down that hill with Sarah was the first time I ever put my arms around her.
Let's tell people, first of all, let's give them your website and where they can order copies of your books.
You can go to my website, which is under the name of Arley, A-R-L-E-Y, with a dash, my last name Koran, Koran, .com. And I'd like to also state that there's a statement on the bottom of the order form on that website which says charitable organizations, children's hospitals can contact the author for complimentary copies at all times.
If someone does contact you through email, and I'd like to give that email address, that you will autograph something for someone, and that makes for a lovely gift.
Yes.
So please give them your email address as well.
Yes, the email address is Arley Koran, one word, at AOL.com. And yes, I autograph every copy that I send out from my...
Excellent. And once again, that URL address, the website to get the books are Arley, A-R-L-E-Y, with a dash, Koran, Koran.com. Well, it's been a privilege and pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Arley Koran, author, humanitarian, and just an incredible American. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Nancy.